Mr. Speaker, I rise today to condemn in the strongest possible terms the President's decision to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival Program, also known as DACA. This issue should be very simple. These are children who were brought here by their parents through no fault of their own. They grew up with our kids, attended the same schools, played on the same playgrounds, and learned to drive in our neighborhoods. These kids are Americans in their heart and in their minds, just not on paper yet. Beyond that, my faith, my conscience, my understanding of basic economics prevents me from supporting this cruel and inhumane decision by President Trump. If we are to love our neighbors as ourselves, we must remember that we, too, were once strangers in a strange land. Many of us have our own immigrant stories, stories of how we became Americans. My family story begins like many of yours. My great-grandfather, Metro, was born in Austria in 1881, and my great-grandmother, Margaret Scrutt, was born in Ukraine in 1882. They got married and knew that they could find a better life in America. So in 1906, they took a chance and came to America, arriving on November 1st, 1906. They settled in Northumberland County, Pennsylvania, because other Ukrainians already lived there. They joined the community, worked hard, went to church, raised a family of Americans, including my grandmother, Anna Gurish. My great-grandmother's story is the story of America. It's a story of immigration and immigrant families dreaming of a better life and making America great. It's the same story repeated 24 years later when Mary Ann McLeod boarded the Transylvania in Glasgow on May 2, 1930. 9 days later, she arrived in New York with $50 in her pocket. 86 years later, her son elected President of the United States of America. At the age of 7, a young woman left Cuba, fleeing communism. In 1989, she became the first Latina elected to Congress, and it is a privilege to serve with her. Melania Neves was born in Slovenia. She became first a permanent resident and then a citizen of the United States. This young lady, born in southeastern Slovenia, now lives in northwest D.C. as the First Lady of the United States of America. Daniel, one of my constituents who I help with his DACA status. He works hard, pays his taxes, loves this country, his country, as much as any other American. So many great Americans are Americans by choice, not by birth. This has made America the greatest, strongest, wealthiest country in the world. We can attract the best, the brightest, the most driven, and the most talented. People like Dr. Elizabeth Stern was born in Canada, but in 1915 became an American. She drove forward our ability to detect and treat cancer. Author Ian Rand, a favorite of the Speaker, was born in 1905 in Russia and came to the United States in 1926. Actress Natalie Portman, born in 1981 in Jerusalem, who came to the U.S. as a toddler. Alonzo Gilliam was born in Mexico but died last week as an American hero working to save lives during Hurricane Harvey. At the last Olympics, Americans born in places like Australia, Kenya, and Poland brought home 9 medals, including 2 gold for the United States. Their stories are all the same. They came to America seeking a better life and a better future. They contributed to our society and our culture. They made America great. Margaret and Metro's story is America's story. America's story is Mary Ann's story and Daniel's story. This is the story of us, the story of America. It's a story that no president's pen can erase. America's story is Melania's, Ian's, and the story of Albert. We are America, and we are here to stay. No matter where you were born, we are America, and we are here to stay. No matter what language you speak to your mom in, we are America, and we are here to stay. We are America, and we are here to stay because America's story is